Hello, this is Gordon Fisher from the Buckskinner's Resources, and what I'm going to show you today is how you can make your own haversack. I was online and I saw Dave Canterbury's video where he had a haversack and what he used it for, and I saw that and I figured, it would be really nice to have one of those, very useful. So I figured that I'd just go ahead and I'd make one. So here's the one that I made, and I'm going to show you just exactly how simple this thing is to make, and I'll also show you what is in mine and at this time, and just exactly how to make it. So what I'm going to do is reposition the camera here so you'll be able to see exactly what's in my haversack and how I made it, so you yourself can have one, and it's very inexpensive to make. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made mine, what I have in mine at this time, and again, this is going to change, but it'll change in the seasons as to what I'm going to carry out in my haversack. But I had a bunch of stuff here and I just kind of threw everything in here, and I really haven't made the kit up for any particular season, rhyme or reason. And here is the haversack. I have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pockets in this thing. And we'll just go ahead and I'll start emptying it out as to some of the things that I know I will be carrying with me whenever I go on some type of a camping trip or survival exercise. Here's a can of Sterno. We'll just set this stuff over here off camera a little bit. Gotta clear my work table here from a few things that I've had. Of course, here's 2 sail needles that I've just gotten. I plan on getting a little bit of duct tape, and I'll be placing these here so they'll be available to me. The duct tape I have is not really a good grade of duct tape, and it doesn't want to stick to the leather, so I just need to get a better duct tape. But so you have sail needles. In this little compartment that's behind this pocket here, I have 2 9-volt batteries. Have a magnifying lens here. And I had ordered a flint and steel from Dave Canterbury's web store, and I kept the cardboard. I don't like to waste any type of resources that can help make a fire or help me sustain a fire. So we have those 2. Okay, in this flap here, I have another fire starter. This one here just pops open like this, and this clip that holds on the top actually has a piece of metal there, and you're to press firmly on that and press down to make your fire. I'll be going over a lot of these products that I've picked up in another video and tell you what I think about them and what I recommend that you have. But for right now, I'm just showing you what I've actually got in this haversack. I have some shoelace here, a couple of different purposes. I can use this for my bow and drill set for starting the fire, or in case my shoelace breaks, I got an extra one. And I have my utility or multi-tool here, which can also strap onto my belt if I so desire to carry it that way. And I believe that's all I have in the pocket. this pocket here I made was specifically to hold one thing, and that is my knife. Because if I have this Haversack on, normally I would have my knife either in my pocket or onto the on my belt. But if I have my Haversack on, it's going to be on my right side. I'm right-handed, so now I have easy access to gain for my knife. Put that aside. Back here, I had purchased some 20 gauge to 410 gauge and 20 gauge to 22 shell adapters for my 20 gauge shotgun, and these are just some pins to pop out the 22 gauge shell after it's been spent. In this little pocket here I have some more fire making. I have 2 magnesium, steel, and flint rods, so those 2 are there. I have a whistle connected to another piece of steel. So the emergency whistle's there. I believe I have 2 of those. I do. 2 whistles. And I believe that's everything in there. Now in my main pack, I have just some cotton cloth and some oil so that I can keep my metal parts lubricated. I can use this to help clean with my guns after I've cleaned it off with the soap and water or with sand and water. Then I can go ahead and oil everything up to keep it from rusting. So that I keep in my pack. Just making a little bit of room. I have 100 feet of paracord. There. I have a Lansky's sharpener, knife sharpener, axe sharpener. I have 2 of these lightweight emergency survival bags. They're an emergency, it's an all-weather emergency bag. You can get that off of Dave's store. I want to tell you something, this may sound like a commercial for Dave's store, but he has really good products there. I like his products, and I've bought a lot of my stuff off of his website. Are there other avenues that you can search out on the internet? Of course there is. But I liked it because everything that I wanted to carry, Dave actually has there, and it's reasonably priced. Now this is some cordage that I picked up. I believe I got this at Lowe's. Carry that with me. I do carry bank line. I'm going to be using this to show you how I actually made a haversack. Here's a curved sail needle, and I also keep a straight pin. In case I get any splinters or that, I have a way of doing a little bit of first aid on myself. I have some wire ties here. I being a diabetic, sometimes my sugar goes low. Yeah, that's a train. I live real close to the railroad. Anyhow, this is just basically glucose. In case my sugar goes low or somebody else's sugar goes low, you can give one of these to the person. Just put it under their tongue. You'll get into the bloodstream really quick. I have 2 thermal wraps, okay, that I carry. This is some unfat dry milk, part of my foods that I carry. This is Dave Canterbury's Surefire with just a couple rubber bands around it. I have that in there for helping me to start a fire. What conditions? I have some 5-hour energy drink. And in these 2 film canisters, one has dryer vent linen, and the other is cattail that I have. So those 2 are in there. And then I had made up 4 snares to be used, And this one here, I also use this one to clean my gun with. And again, Dave has videos on YouTube that show you exactly how to make and how to use those. Now in this pouch here that I have inside here just some, let me dig it out here. What this is some flour, a cup of flour, a quarter cup of teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. This is for making that hardtack. Again, another one of Dave's videos. And then way in the back of this same little side pouch, I have some buckwheat pancake mix. And I have 2 cups of pancake mix in here. 1 cup will make approximately 4 nice sized pancakes. And then I have the directions on how much, to add water. And there's 2 cups of buckwheat pancake mix and 2 teaspoons of salt. So it's already mixed up. All I have to do is add water, measure out like half of the contents. That's going to be a cup. And then I can go ahead and mix that up. So that's the contents of what I have inside my haversack here. And we'll go ahead and show you just how I made this. Now, I started off by getting a piece of material, and to be truthful with you, I bought this stuff a long time ago for making a cradle, and I also made a box to carry the cradle. It was a portable cradle, and I was going to line the inside of the cradle with this leather, and it really didn't work out too well, so I saved the leather. I may have $20 worth of leather here, and you can see how much of this I do have left over. I do have quite a bit. There's this piece, there's this big piece here, plus a few small pieces and some small strips that I have left over. First thing I did was that I measured out just how big I wanted my haversack. Okay, and I'll be using the one that I made as reference. So I got about the size that I wanted as far as how deep I wanted it. I cut off the extra here. That's what gave me my extra strap, which I'm going to use later. So, first things first, I went ahead and I folded over this enough to make my first inside pocket. And then what I did is that I got my bank line here, and I pulled out some, threaded the needle, and then I just stitched about a ½ an inch over from the side here, and I stitched it the whole way across. And as you can see on here, let me zoom in on this a little bit so you can get a better idea of what I did. About a ½ an inch in right here is where I stitched down, and then I actually stitched right across over to the end. I went the whole way over to the end, and that's what gave me this pocket here. So after I was done with that, I went ahead and I stitched down the right side. In this I went out about 1/8 to 1/4 inch from the edge, and I just went the whole way down to the bottom corner here. Get that to where you can see that. Okay. So now I basically had a pocket that I could open up like this. So I went ahead and grabbed some other material, and this is what I made the pocket out of. And I did it basically the same way. Back up again here so you can see. Whereas I just folded it over to how big I wanted the pocket. I brought the top flap down so it would be about 1/3 down on the pocket, and then I cut it off. So now I had this piece which was cut off about right here. So what I did is I got my bank line again and I stitched down both of these sides. Again, you can see that I did stitch down. Now, whenever I went to attach the pocket to the haversack, as you can see on these stitches here, there's a gap. There's a stitch, a gap, a stitch, a gap. Well, now I had a stitch, a gap, a stitch, a gap here. So whenever I stitched this to the haversack, I actually had stitched the gaps in between the gaps. So now it looks like it's one continuous stitch down that side as well as this side here, one continuous stitch. And then I stitched across the bottom. Now the reason why I did that is because now whenever that was all together, now I have a pocket behind this pocket that's on the front. Okay? And the rest of it was basically the same. I measured out the width of my knife, and I made it a little bit bigger. I'd say about 1/2 inch bigger on either side. Then I went ahead, cut off the material, and this is just a single, this isn't lapped over, this is just a single piece of cloth here. And I went ahead and I stitched that down across the bottom and then back up. So that gave me my knife pocket. And then this pocket was done the same as the first pocket. Now whenever you are stitching these pockets together, you don't want to stitch it the whole way through. So that's why I did not close up this end of the haversack yet until all my pockets were done. Because what I would do is that I would just come in from the side like this. I would come in from this side and then I would come up through the pocket, bring it up, take the stitch back down, and then pull it down through and then come up again. So once all my pockets were done, I went ahead and I stitched up the left hand side. Just like that. You can see it's a single stitch with the little gaps there the whole way down to the bottom. I didn't need a stitch across the bottom here because that was the fold of my haversack. But whenever I came up, okay, I did stop